We'd like to thank Boston VR Meetup and all of you guys for coming out today. We really appreciate it. As Jeff said, we are a local startup, so we love to engage with you guys and continue to grow and learn. My name is Spencer Honeyman. I'm the Director of Business Development at Presume, and this is our co-founder and CTO, Eric Malafeew. Hey. So we're Presume. We create virtual reality that moves you. So what we do is we create really awesome, exciting virtual reality experiences, one of which you'll get to try today. And what we're trying to do is to transform your bicycle in your own home into what we think is the ideal way to experience VR. So all of our experiences today, you get to be a horse. Tomorrow you could be a tank. The day after that, you could be a surfer on a surfboard. They all motivate you to pedal. So I think everyone's been to the gym and gone through a workout and not been thrilled with it. We're hoping to change that. So here's a little graphic. We actually have a real-life prototype over there. All those wires you see will be gone within the next week or two and all be wireless. And so what we do is we add sensors to your own bicycle. So it could either be a bike on a trainer or it could be a stationary fitness bike. And one goes in the rear wheel and measures how fast you pedal. We actually removed the one from under the front wheel, so you can forget that one. But we actually track your steering with head movements. So if you lean to the left and right, that's how you steer your horse or your tank. And then we have an action button for gameplay. And so we support all major VR systems. So today we're working with Oculus. Last week we were actually at E3 working on a Morpheus. So Eric can talk to this in a little bit more technical detail, but we're a combination of hardware and software, obviously, as you can see. And so what we do is we take the motion in the real world from pedaling and steering a bicycle, and we translate that into virtual reality. And what that does that's pretty unique is it links the body and mind together. So if you think of traditional controllers that just use your thumbs where you're either sitting or standing, it doesn't really do that. And so by having your legs in motion, you're sort of powering your own experience. And as I said earlier, we're creating all these really unique experiences. So today you're going to be a horse, you'll get a chance to fly. The next day you have a long day at work and you want to be a tank, you can blow some stuff up. The day after that, you could be a surfer catching a wave, and so you can be anything you want to be. And one thing we encourage you guys to do is let us know your ideas. So we've heard some pretty crazy ones. A lot of people want to be underwater, be a submarine, be a dolphin. We're going to work on all that stuff. And so our goal is to create dozens of really cool experiences. So whenever you hop on your bike, whether it's to be a gamer or it's a way to get some exercise, you're always having fun and it never gets old. So we threw a little launch party. There may have been a few cocktails involved, so take it at face value. But these are some of the reactions we got.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you feel like you're actually flying.
Oh, that's cool. That is awesome.
I'm getting a lot of exercise. Didn't intend to, I'm at a party.
That is awesome. Oh my God, my heart rate is.
That was awesome. You're scary, but awesome.
Wow. Cool stuff, guys.
So that was down in Nashville at a Kentucky Derby party, so a few mint juleps, but we had a lot of fun. And so what we'd really like to do today, and being as transparent as possible, is continue to get feedback from you guys. So we got a lot of really good feedback at E3. There were some things that people wanted tweaked, so Eric and his team, and I'm going out there and interacting with people like you, is we'd like to really learn. So what I'll do now is I'm going to turn it over to Eric to go into a little bit more detail on the technical side, and then we'll tell you about some cool alpha and beta offers we have for you guys in a couple minutes.
Thanks, Spencer, and thanks everybody. Just where did we come from? I was working at Harmonix for 15 years and had done some robotics and sim before that. Eric Jansen, who isn't here tonight, our CEO, has been an investor and previously invested in VR, which we all know didn't work out before now, but we were able to come together, see that it was going to work, and thought, what better thing to do than a VR exercise bike, right? And we're really going to make it happen.
I got you.
You got it? So, right, I just thought I'd dig out the very first picture I had of this. So this is my daughter's bike, and you can see the first way we measured the wheel was by taping it, which is actually on this bike, but like Spencer said, in a week we have wireless sensors where you don't require that. And we were measuring the steering, and my daughter basically didn't have her bike all summer, so she was a little upset. But it's for a good cause. So, and like I said, I went to Radio Shack when you still could, and bought just a few sensors and an Arduino, and you know, the next slide shows the sweet level that I built to test this out in. It's obviously, you know, Unity is a great engine, and we continue to use it, but it was also the very fastest thing to get up and prove out the demo. We weren't any of these awesome vehicles then. We were a white ball, and but we used this to kind of feel like what it was like to go up and down hills, and we started out with this concept that maybe we're going to build a bike that actually had a motor on the rear wheel and have steering, and as we developed the software and we developed, you know, ways to fly and go up hills and steer, we found ourselves questioning, like, why are we building a big custom bike? Like, can we pare it down to just simple sensors that we could sell directly to gamers and hook it up to their own bike? So that's where we are today. We believe we can. What felt great about that early prototype was, you know, hell yeah, it worked. You did Arduino code and talking to Unity, and it felt really, really natural. I hope everybody can try it. We're not going to be able to do the full demo tonight if we want to get a lot of you on here, but I think you'll agree it feels completely unlike other VR experiences because of the natural way that you're pedaling through things. We could feel it going up and down hills, and holy crap, you know, flying is just amazing, especially when it's under your own power. You're the one, you know, keeping yourself in the air. So, but there were some downsides. Obviously, you know, we needed to invent like the fantasy. Like, why are you in this world? What do you want to do with it? You know, and as a gamer, you know, super important to me. And we had all these wires. We couldn't actually expect people to hook these up to their bikes. And just being a bike doesn't mean we've solved the nausea problem. We actually had to still solve that, which we then spent the following 6 months and about 100 playtesters and me not feeling very well a lot of that time to make it feel as good as it does now. There's a lot of like custom like turning and flying and riding tech that's all in software. And like the last bit was taking off and flying felt great, but landing absolutely felt horrible. You know, you just hit the ground, you feel it in your stomach. So what we've done is, you know, we've created tech that smooths your landing. You still feel a little bump, because otherwise you would just not even know you landed. With like, you know, feedback basically on all of this stuff tonight. That's why I'm telling you. So keep your eyes peeled for all those things, and please give us feedback after you ride. We are lucky enough to have access to great developers in Boston, a lot of whom I'd worked with at Harmonix and previous. I think some are here tonight, including Tony, who developed the accelerometer for the Wiimote. So that's the genius behind the sensors on our new bike. But we've got people here who've been professional recording engineers and worked on a variety of games, many of which are on new controllers and for like a mass market. So that's why we're also interested in creating all these games, not just the sensors and throwing that out to everyone. So I just thought, you know, because I don't know how many people here are developers. Can you raise your hands? Cool, actually it's a good number. You know what we learned, which is that VR is a totally new medium. You know, you think you could translate 2D games into it, you can't. You know, first of all, you make people ill, but secondly, VR just gives you a different experience, and you've got to like follow that. What's awesome about it? You know, so we had a question: are we making games? Do we need to make games? Isn't it just awesome to ride around a canyon as a horse? So I think the experiences we're making, call them games, call them experiences, but there'll be like activities and sports, you know, probably are the best relationships. You've got to keep up frame rate, everybody knows that, but if you glitch, you know, it's going to feel terrible, and Unity has a lot of great tools to help us with that. be very, very sensitive. I'll tell you some of the tricks we learned making VR. One of them is to really respect gravity. So no matter what our avatar does, if it's going up a hill or it's turning sideways, your virtual body actually never turns. It's important that you feel gravity the way it's actually feeling in the game. So when you go up a hill, we don't turn your whole body up. We make you look up so that you feel like you're going up a hill. So little things like that. You've got to play test everything because you get acclimated and you can't really trust yourself beyond a month. You need people like yourselves to come and tell us we're full of crap when we think something works. Just saying, since I used to make engines at Harmonix, and we did that because we had to be able to customize things. It's great working in Unity for all the great things that it does, and we're just trying to take advantage of all those things and provide experiences that it can, and it's able to do more and more in VR as time goes on. So I was going to run a video, but we're actually going to be showing the demos as people ride them, so I think you'll find we actually have come up with a bunch of gameplay and chosen where to focus our art, improve the controls to do all these things, and like Spencer said, we run on a couple kits. And we've got wireless sensors not on display tonight, but here's pictures. We've got something that just fits on the back wheel or could go on a spoke for your wheel measurement. We've got a wireless button. And we have a turntable, although we're running tests tonight without it to see how turning feels if people just move their head slightly side to side, just like this. So we think it actually feels really good, and it's all in the interest of simplifying our product. So, we're a startup. We only incorporated a couple months ago. We've got a few months before VR really hits, before you could buy a Morpheus, buy a new Oculus. So in that time, we're going to create a few more levels. We're going to add replayability, kind of stat tracking and gameplay. And when there's a market of resumes out there, we'd be happy to open this up to other developers. So I'll turn it back to Spencer, but thank you.
All right, so one of the questions we always get is, what's your timetable for launch? So one of the things we're sharing tonight and announcing tonight is we're going to be doing an alpha launch in the next 30 days or so end of July, early August. And what does that mean? So if there's a user who has a DK2, an Oculus DK2 and a bicycle, we will provide you a bike trainer and the sensors and software to be able to experience Resume. So you get to play test our games as they come out, all these really unique experiences. And so that'll be a 30 to 90 day period. In addition to that, in the fall, we will be having a beta launch, which will be a nationwide launch. And what we'll do is, if somebody has a bike at DK2 and either wants to buy a trainer or has one, we will be selling our sensors and software with a DK2. When we do launch in 2016, commercially will be available on all VR headsets. So today, if you are interested in that, you can grab one of my business cards and a brochure over there, or you can sign up on our website, or we may go through Jeff to bug you guys later on. So we really appreciate your time. We're really excited to be here. We're located just in Harvard Square, so if you're ever in the neighborhood, feel free to pop on by and check out what we're working on. We're at most of the major trade shows. So we were just at E3 with Sony. We're hoping to engage with all the large HMDs, and definitely check out the live demo tonight. So as I said earlier, today it's the sensors on a bicycle. We're looking at different OEM solutions, and we hope to be in the fitness space. We hope to transform the way you work out and the way you would ride a stationary bike, and we also think we're creating this really unique way of gaming in VR. So thanks for your time. This is Spencer Honeyman for Resume. We're at Boston VR Meetup giving some demos. All right, so Bruno's about to hop on the bike. So Bruno, what we do is we transform your stationary bike at home, so a bike on a trainer or a stationary bike, into an awesome VR experience. So we add our own sensors, one on the rear wheel, which measures how fast you pedal. We measure head motion for steering, and we have an action button right there that you can press for gameplay. So if you want to put on your Oculus Rift, we'll get you going. Alright, so you can put your hands on the handlebars, and when you're ready you can start pedaling and we'll get you moving.
he's actually chasing the horses, or is he riding the horse?
So he's chasing the other horses. He is a horse here. So he's sort of in the middle of the horse. He's embodying his avatar. And so what we're doing here is we're taking you through resume training, where first we teach you how to catch up to other horses and pedal straight. Now we're going to teach him how to steer, and we do that using head tracking. So small leaning motions, just like that. There you go. Perfect. So he's going through a bunch of coins, and we teach people how to steer this way. And so that way, when they get into the actual game, if they're in a canyon or if they're on a ledge or they're doing something cool in another game that could be a tank, they could be a surfer, we teach them how to move through the game.
Cool. I'm just going to get some footage of this guy.
I'll grab it, Philip. Thank you.
So how does it...
Pedal fast. You're gonna start flying. Keep going a little faster.
My partner and I are moving out here, so.
Okay, so you think you'll open up something here?
We're, as I said, I'm a lot more interested in VR than he is. He thinks it's interesting, but he's more of the opinion that it's, like, it's up to the people that started it. $20,000.
There you go. So that's it. So you can take off your headset and come back to real life. How do you feel?
Pretty good.
So what was the experience like on the bike?
Yeah, I guess I need to do more exercise, and this is a cool way to do it. I really like it. It was
Great.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this demo.
We appreciate it.